This is one of the most infamous moments in NFL history. When Vikings place kicker Gary Anderson missed this field goal that would have put Minnesota up 10 and likely sent them to the Super Bowl. However, when it went wide left, it gave Atlanta a chance to tie the game, which they did, and win the game in overtime, which they did. That's usually where the story stops. How could the Vikings at 15-1 have lost their chance at the Super Bowl? But today we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons, because they have one of the most interesting stories in NFL history that is rarely, if ever, told. Before we get into 1998, we need to start in 1991. This was the last time before 98 that the Falcons had won a playoff game. After this, they would put up 3 straight losing seasons before making it back to the playoffs in 1995 and losing to the Packers in the wildcard round. They followed this up with a 3-13 record in 1996 and a 7-9 record in 1997. Second-year head coach Dan Reeves was at the helm of the 1998 season when something very, very interesting happened. The Falcons would go on to go 14-2 in the regular season and win their division. So how were the Falcons able to double their win total from 1997? Well, several things played into their favor and the stars aligned. Journeyman quarterback Chris Chandler played the absolute best season of his career this year, throwing 25 touchdowns and 12 picks. He would never throw for more than 20 in any other season of his career. The team added veteran receiver Tony Martin from San Diego, who put up over 1,100 yards this season. The team's receiver Terrence Mathis put up his first 1,000-yard season since 1995. But the biggest reason, by far, for why this team was able to do so well was running back Jamal Anderson. Anderson had some good seasons in Atlanta before, but nothing like this. Anderson put up 1,846 yards and 14 touchdowns in this season. One of the best seasons by a running back of all time. The Falcons' journey to the playoffs is one of the more interesting in league history all by itself. In Week 5, the team punished the Carolina Panthers 51-23. In Week 8, they played against the New England Patriots, where the team destroyed them. Their lead by halftime was a score of 28-3. I'm sorry, Falcons fans. Even in the 90s, you were to be punished. The team was also in the same division as the San Francisco 49ers this year, and after losing to them earlier in the season, they got their win back 31-19 in week number 11. But all of this season, as good as it was going, nearly came to an end in week 14 as team head coach Dan Reeves had to have quadruple bypass surgery to get his heart fixed after massive blockages in his coronary arteries. Doctors at the time said he was hours away from a catastrophic heart attack. Reeves only gave up coaching the team for 2 weeks in Week 15 and 16 and returned for Week 17 and the playoff run. In the playoffs, the team was able to defeat Steve Young and Jerry Rice 20-18 in the divisional round before going on to defeat the Vikings 30-27 in overtime. And in the Super Bowl, the team laid a complete egg against John Elway and lost 34-19. I feel like this is one of the least talked about Super Bowls of the modern era, or from the 90s onward. You just never hear about this one. If you hear about the Broncos Super Bowls, you hear about the one against Green Bay. You'll hear about 1 yard short, the Rams and the Titans, but you'll never hear about this one. I suppose because it was kind of a snoozer, Denver never really was out of control of it, but it's really unfortunate that a team as interesting as these Falcons never get their due. But the Falcons had just gone 14-2. They've been to the Super Bowl. Surely things will be good from here on out. The following season, the Atlanta Falcons went 5-11. They were in no way able to match their form from the year before. Chandler went from throwing 25 touchdowns to 16. Tony Martin would go on to play for the Dolphins this season, and though Terrence Mathis played a decent season, it still wasn't enough. And this was all because of Jamal Anderson. In Week 2, Anderson suffered a devastating knee injury that completely derailed the team's chances of doing anything. It broke the team, and it cost them their chance at a repeat. And after this, the Atlanta Falcons would not get back to the playoffs again until the year 2002. So even though the Falcons didn't win the Super Bowl, and even though they're not really talked about in history, I still think their story is an interesting one that is worth telling. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments section. I want to thank each and every one of you so much for getting us to 200 subscribers so quickly after we got to 100. If you have not yet, please subscribe so we can get to 300 even faster if that's even possible. This has been Kickoff Commentary, and have a great day.